We are live. We are on YouTube. We are on YouTube. Hello, the internet. We, hey, whatever you say is forever catalyzed on the internet. Just letting you guys know. Let me start. Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, as when I said that, we became on YouTube. Yeah, when I started talking, we were on. I think I've spared you. I don't think they can hear you guys just yet. So you have another opportunity to get it together. They see your names, yeah. YouTube can now hear y'all.
Yeah. Well, hello, everyone. We're having totally normal conversations here tonight.
All right, fellows. We are in Detroit, Michigan for this series, for this season. Phil, it's your time to shine, friend.
Where's Martin Luther King Avenue?
All right, so I didn't have time to do a full write-up. Excuse me. Essentially, Trump has taken over many of the largest cities in America. We'll say like the top 30 crime-ridden cities in America with the National Guard. Pretty much in all the cities, to include Detroit, that he has occupied with the National Guard. It has been against the state and local citizens' will and has caused a lot of rowdy riots and flares against the National Guard. Many of the police forces have largely stood down, which is also the case to what's happening here in Michigan. This has been going on for a handful of months. It is now, let's say, February of 2026. Lots of people are getting fussy, saying Trump's trying to do this to control the Democrat cities before the midterms because he's scared he's going to lose Congress in that. Blah, 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 blah. All right, we are tasked with pulling security for a farmer's market and a local community gathering that's happening at this Fellowship Chapel here, this church, that is in the northern Detroit area, right? So it's pretty much completely surrounded by a bunch of subdivisions, neighborhood blocks as far as the eye can see in every direction, other than what's relevant on this map. All right. So what's going on here is there is going to be a farmer's market here in this green section. So there's going to be booths and stuff set up where people can walk around in this parking lot. There's going to be different community speakers that are going on here in this lawn section in the blue. We want people to park their vehicles here in the purple sections. There's also a grassy area here that will be open to the public. And then this is our main entrance and exit sites here that we have in red. We have 9 people. These are individuals, not teams now. So we have 9 individuals that have volunteered for whatever reason. The community reached out and said they were worried that they couldn't get the cops to come pull security from them like they used to. And tensions are high, but they want to maintain normalcy as much as they can. So they were requesting the community for individuals to come forward and pull security. And for whatever reason, you've decided you're going to do that. And so here we are. I need at least one player.
I'll play. I'll play. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll play. I'll join. Yeah.
Give me one. Or give me who do we got? Who do we got? Who wants to go?
Boogeyman.
Boogeyman.
Asphalt.
Days Volt. What's up, Bones?
How's it going?
Chillin'. About to run this TDG.
Here goes the neighborhood.
Okay, here goes the neighborhood. Yeah. All right. So we got two guys. All right. So we'll say. Is anybody else want to play?
Yeah,
Oh, you
I'll
guys playing
do it.
games? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, why not, dude? Come on.
Hey, mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Whoever just said that, yes.
Yeah, Armageddon would like to play.
I have a question.
Let's hear it.
I'm completely new to this. What is TDG?
TDG is tactical decision making games. So basically, I just give you
Alright.
different tactical scenarios, and as you already probably heard me set up, and then I basically play as the bad guys, the enemy, and let you guys make the decisions.
Okay, sounds good.
Who was the third person that wanted to go?
Me, SV89.
SV89. What up, G? All right, so you each will be in charge.
Armageddon 1 and 2 as well.
You want to? Well, I think we're gonna limit it to 3. Anytime I try and get more than that, it gets people end up just like not really playing anyways. So I'm gonna give those 3 people SV89, Deus Volt, and who was the other guy that I said? Boogeyman. Yep.
Why?
Got it. So Boogeyman, you're gonna be one squad, but even though that's just 3 individuals. Deus Volt, you'll be 2. SV89, you'll be 3. Do you all? Say again?
Confirmed.
Does anybody?
Yeah.
Everybody? Do you all understand the situation in the map, or do you need me to go over it again?
I'm good. I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. The only piece of intel I will plan is that you were told by some family members that they saw on Facebook there was supposed to be a communist march that goes down this street at the same day that you guys are hosting this event. But you haven't seen or heard a bunch about it, so you don't think it's. People were saying it's probably not. You brought it up to the event planner, and he said he hasn't heard anything about it, so he doesn't think it's going to be like a big deal, and he wants to just go forward anyways.
All right.
All right.
So it's up to you guys. How do you want to? You have 9 individuals. Each of you are in charge of yourselves and 2 others. How would you like to set yourselves up? We want to talk about what level of kit you think you'd want to wear. Do you all want to have the same level of kit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I give you all the floor.
Okay. Well, I guess if I'm gonna be first squad, I'll go first here. I would think that the easiest way to do it, at least, would be, a lot of people are gonna have that kind of knee-jerk reaction and want to set up checkpoints and stuff. The problem with checkpoints is they can be incredibly visible, and that's not necessarily something that you want, especially if you're met with an overwhelming force. So it would be much more ideal, at least for the first element, to be in a lower visibility kit, but in a more of a recon position where you're being in an observation post. So I see we have a couple of bus stops up here. If you want to zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it would be ideal to have that positioned at one of these, probably near that parking lot or across the street near that school. That would be the first position. The second position would probably be closer in between that track right there, that running track. What road is that? Oakfield, yeah. And then another one would be on the opposite side. I would imagine probably still at least a block away. So yeah, around that suburban area. It would be, if they're not in a stationary position, it would be ideal to have at least 1 or 2 of them and like mounted in like a truck or something like that they would be riding around in.
Yeah.
But that would be what I would do, at least for the first element.
All right, so you want... Go for it.
What's the situation like? What's the threat level? Is this like just a normal day in fucking in Detroit, kind of thing, or is there some kind of domestic unrest in the background?
Yeah,
To this
there's like low level domestic unrest, right? You're in
Okay.
Detroit. Trump has occupied it with the National Guard. It was against the state and the city's will.
I do remember this part of the story. Sorry.
Right, tensions have been flared. Like there's been definitely, daily, every other day, Antifa versus National Guard attacks and riots and nonsense like that. The political violence, as it already has increased, has probably been increasing generally as well. But also, no, it's not like open warfare on the streets right now.
Yeah. Okay. So, when it comes to the speakers, is there anybody high profile or controversial that is scheduled to speak at the event?
For the local area, you could say, sure, kind of.
Okay.
Right. This is a farmers market being held at a church with community leaders they think are important speaking here, while Antifa is pissed off that Trump has occupied this place with the National Guard.
Maybe a system aligned event then.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but yeah.
Well, okay, so I mean, in the situation where it's like domestic unrest and you have Antifa on one side and you have like the government on the other side, like would the organizers or like the purpose of this event be pro state or anti-state?
No, so we're not really having a state affiliation, right? So there's multiple. This isn't a 1-team, 2-team. This is like mini factions at play, right? So this is like local, probably Christian leaning. Probably if we're like more constitutionalist or whatever, we would want less government. So we would probably also not be super hyped at the National Guard, but probably not wanting to throw Molotovs at them like Antifa necessarily is.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Sorry, I'll go ahead with the first guy.
So I was thinking it would probably be a good idea to have at least a couple guys in the crowd, plainclothes, concealed carry, just keeping an eye on things with a radio, and then having at least a couple of us in trucks, patrolling the perimeter, even using drones in the sky to just get as big of a situational awareness of a large of area as possible, just to see if there's any large crowds forming, if there's anyone coming in on our position, but just otherwise keep a low profile. And, for my guys, if I've got 3, I'm going to have 1 with a radio, plainclothes, concealed carry in the crowd, and the 2 are going to be kitted out with at least a rifle and an ammo and a radio in a truck together, and they're going to be doing patrols around the neighborhood.
Nice.
We want to give ourselves enough time if there is a large crowd that's going to descend on us, either set up a roadblock, make our stand, or get out of here. Time is the advantage we'd have if we can have it.
Okay, so right now we have 1 team here, one person here, 1 person here, 1 person here. They're all in vehicles, I would assume, probably with at least like kit and rifle in the vehicle next to him or whatever. 1 guy walking around plainclothes, and then 1 2-man team with kit and rifles ready to go in a car doing roving patrols in the immediate area around here. And then we have 3 individuals left.
So I guess that's the 3 squad is up to me, right? So if we're gonna like spread our limited resources that thin, there should probably be at least 1 person in the vicinity of the speaker and where the audience will be, to kind of, I guess, just keep an eye on things, look for anything suspicious, obviously, and shit. I mean, it's still a lot of space. I guess I would probably put a guy at each entrance to each parking area. Maybe not necessarily right up on the street, but in a position where they can observe and possibly control the flow of traffic in and out. And I guess that's what I'm gonna do with those guys for now.
Yeah, and GWOT, if I could have my 2 guys in a truck together, I'd rather just keep them concentrated. I'm really just looking out for large crowds gathering and just saying 2 guys in a truck will be far more mobile than a large crowd moving around.
And now that I think about it, it would almost be, so here's a thought. it might be more beneficial to have someone, because we have dominion over that church, right? That is our area of operation. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we have access to the whole church.
Yeah, they'll let you do pretty much whatever within reason.
Okay. It may be better at that point to put someone, and this is just a suggestion, to put someone up top somewhere with a long gun, kind of keeping watch of everything, and maybe even pair them up with someone in kind of a spotter role, but give them like a drone for them to look around with.
Yeah,
that looks kind of sloped. Are you sure we have guys qualified for that?
one guy on the roof could do the job.
We'll just make a Mexican.
Even if that, I know you're joking. Even if that was a concern, you could put somebody up here on this large, flatter portion that would give them good elevation, and they could traverse around and get eyes on pretty much everything from right there. If this was truly unusable.
Huge force multiplier. Have someone that has precision marksmanship skills, and to have a drone operator. If I were to pick one over the other, it'd probably be a drone operator.
So, one squad, one team. Do you want to put your dudes over there? I feel like we have some redundancy with 3 outposts and vehicles, and then a roving vehicle.
Leave the one on Oakfield.
Okay.
And then bring the one that's farther out. Bring him in and just put him and let's just say he's the drone guy. He's running the drone. He's watching around the whole spot right there.
Sure, you can even, it's limited dudes, so you can have him do both. Well, I'll be super nice, but you just can't have him do both at the same time. So he's got a drone, and he's got his little 2 to 10 or 4 to 16 or 1 to 8 or whatever it is. So he can do precision fires everywhere that he can see, and he's got his drone. So he can either be droning or precisioning, one of the two.
Right. I would say droning.
No, I'm saying he has both things. He just can't be flying a drone and then offering precision fires at the same time. So you have to pick one thing being in use at a time.
Right. Makes sense.
All right, boys. Anything else y'all got? What is over there? Nothing.
Do we want to have a plan on how we respond to what situations before they kick off, or do we just want to play it by ear?
I mean, that's a really good question, I guess.
Rules of engagement, guys. Do we shoot into a crowd just because they're moving on us, or do we shoot people with weapons only?
I would shoot anyone that you can shoot under the self-defense laws of the locality.
Detroit, they don't have any.
I would assume that we're deputized at least under Commodus Posse. So we have a bit more brain, you know what I mean, at that point, rather than just self-defense. It would be a little bit more for like.
Well, it's also private property, so.
Yeah.
What that's worth.
Well, I mean, it's just anything where people are committing violence in any way or menacing. So.
Wait, eventually, so when you want to move your own civilians out of the way, like when you want to move them inside when the shooting kicks off, just so they're out of the way and you can shoot freely?
That would probably be ideal.
No, I mean, bullets go through buildings, and if the threat is coming from the outside and we're on the inside and they're shooting at us, they're hitting buildings. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the building's made of or anything like that. I guess we could go like as deep into that as you want to. But I think honestly, just everybody hit the fucking civilians hit the ground when the shooting starts is probably just as safe as like go in the building and
they're gonna in real life they're gonna panic herd run.
And they're gonna fucking scatter. Yeah,
they're not gonna scatter. They're gonna panic herd run. They're gonna panic herd run the most direct, opposite, and open available lane, like a massive herd of cattle. That is what they will do because we are herd animals at the base.
Actually, it's terrifying.
So, like, if guys came up here and shot right from the west, everybody would just in one mass run to the east.
So that would affect whoever is on the opposite side. Like, your squad would not be able to do shit probably if you're like swarmed by your own civilians.
Well, and it's also a good idea to take into account like where civilians would necessarily be moving if where you're positioning your guys, because like that, the guy in the farmers market green area, if let's say shooting does start, he's not gonna be able to go. He's really not gonna be able to move for a minute with with a herd of people, stampeding around him.
Correct.
He's essentially useless at that point.
Is this security detailed in uniform to let the people at the venue know, the pedestrians know that you're not a bad guy?
If you guys want to throw on like polos that say security on them, you can. It's optional to you. So figure that who you want out and who you don't.
My guy in the crowd is blending in, trying to blend in.
Cool.
Yeah, I think probably the two guys at the entrances should wear uniforms, and perhaps the guy over there at the speakers stage should be plainclothes.
Sure. Checks out.
Nice.
We all
Alright.
good? Anybody
Yeah,
got
yeah.
anything else?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
All right. So, doors open up. Lots of people come in, and things are going good. First speaker's out there. The crowd's there. Everybody's out milling about. You're driving around. Whoa. You're driving around in your car, and you're doing your rounds. You're not seeing anything in particular. You guys have a drone up in the air, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a drone up in the air, and things have been open for about 2 hours, and then plainclothes guy in the crowd, he notices there are a couple people there, 3 people that have just walked in. You just started noticing them, and they just look like they don't belong. There's nothing in particular that you can point out, but they just seem like they don't belong there, and they're being kind of disrespectful to the vendors and stuff like that. What actions do you take? 2 squad.
Okay, I'm gonna radio to let everybody know that we have a situation developing. There's 3 people that don't belong there, and I'm gonna keep an eye on them after that. Just keep an eye on them.
Sure. Okay. Yep. So you're watching them. They're not doing anything super crazy. I'll give them a designator. All right. They're not necessarily hostile, right? This is just to indicate where they are. All right. So they're walking around, and you're tailing them, and they don't really notice because they're a little bit on the oblivious side. They look about college age kids. It's 2 guys and 1 girl, and ultimately the only real piece of intel I have is that at some point you hear them say like, "Yeah, this is a good spot. We should come back here later." And then eventually they just leave. Boop.
Mark that spot on the map and communicate that to the rest of the gang.
You want to mark that spot they're at when you heard him say that?
Well, yeah, I would mark that, make a mental note of that myself, and give a description as best I can to the guys watching the entrance exit to be able to identify their vehicle or their persons again when they come back.
Okay, you identify that they are driving a Honda Civic, and it has very particular bumper stickers on it, so you'll be able to identify if that vehicle returns.
All right.
Alrighty. Okay, so time's going on. The vehicle patrol, as they are coming down here, doing their rounds, and they pull in to do a U-turn here in this parking lot, and they start to notice that there's a small gathering of individuals growing right here. There's just like college-age kids, looking like college-age kids look, but previously in the day there was no one there, and now there's like 10, 15 of them starting to gather around.
Okay, make a note of that. Communicate that to the rest of the gang over the radio. Keep patrolling.
I think at that point, the two individuals stationed at the gates would begin to pay attention for increased vehicle traffic or an increase in vehicles moving in that direction or looking like they're, going somewhere together.
Okay.
Just to keep a note of how many people could potentially be, arriving and when.
Say, would it be a good idea to turn away foot traffic at this point too?
I don't think yet. I don't think we're in actual happening mode yet. But that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall, the event is still going good. Vendors are making sales. Speakers are coming up every 30 minutes. There's a new speaker. Crowd's happy. Kids are playing here in the grassy area. So the event is going well. All right.
I wanted to jump in here.
Yep.
Because I got my guys on the outside, right? The gentleman that's stationed at Oakfield Avenue, he should be able to. Let's say, for example, he has like some binoculars or something like that. He should be able to have some direct line of sight. You know what I mean? Even if he is just hanging out, sitting in a lawn chair or something like that, watching them. On top of that, it would be ideal for everyone to have like notepads and pens to write down the descriptions and certain things like that, you know what I mean, of those individuals and their vehicles, right? Also, the drone guy that I've got sitting up on the roof, he's watching that little red circle probably about twice as much as he was before, just coming back around, checking every once in a while as he circles that whole area.
Alrighty. Cool. So about another hour goes by, and your guy here positioned at Oakfield notifies that there's been some more people are coming, and now they've doubled. So now they're in the neighborhood of 30 individuals here in this parking lot, and they're kind of hanging out, and you're starting to notice some of them are opening their trunk and fiddling with stuff, but no one's like that's it. No one's like pulling anything out or getting ready. You're like, I don't know if they're here to play sports or whatever, right? Obviously, we're all thinking about the supposed pro-communist rally march that's supposed to go down on O'Tier Drive here. All right. Any actions based on that? Based on these numbers increase here? Nope.
My guys are holding to their patrols.
Yep. Cool. All right. So, here pretty soon after that, one more vehicle shows up, and as soon as that vehicle shows up, they all start to get out and put on, change their outfit and stuff, and they start to pull out signs and whatnot that smash the right and fascism will never stand, and you see some Antifa badges and stuff like that. 1-1 identifies all this going on and reports over the radio.
Okay, I'll have the truck with the two guys take up position at the corner of Outer Drive West and Ferguson Street, ready to move if there should be a problem at the gate.
I'm going to pull 1-1 back, probably nestled up in between one of those houses in the yards and stuff like that, so that they're out of the way, but still able to observe everything that's going on.
All right. Anybody else?
No change to my position.
All righty. Event's still going good. People are coming and going. You're rounding out. It is. It's not the peak anymore, but we're not quite died down. So there's not a big influx of foot traffic. There's a couple people leaving and a couple people going here and there, but the event is still going strong. All right. These guys then begin to approach and get on the road. And once they are on the road, they begin to move at a very slow foot pace, headed due east, down the road. And they're chanting, fuck Donald Trump, blah, 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 whatever they say. They're doing that.
All right. Any arms or anything suspicious other than their Antifa badges and all that?
A lot of them have backpacks. A lot of them have, signs and stuff that could then be doubled used as blunt weapons and whatnot. But you're not seeing any overt rifles or chains or anything like that right now.
Are we seeing PCs and helmets on any of them, or face shields or gas masks?
Lots of backpacks. Like half of them are ski masked up. No helmets or gas masks, especially not in force. Maybe onesies or twosies, but not in mass total.
Okay. What I'm probably gonna do is pull those 3 squad guys back a little bit. The guys that are into entrances, probably pull them back to the rightmost pink square that says Fellowship Chapel. On the right side, right? Yep. Probably pull them back to a position back there where they can still observe the entrances, but be off the street as to not draw anything in.
All right.
It's not like they're gonna stop that amount of people coming in if they wanted to.
Right. Okie dokie. So they come up and they get up here, and then they kind of consolidate on your side of the street, and they're just doing their hooting and hollering right now, but they are consolidating from what was like a road march formation or a loose road march formation now to occupying strictly your side of the road and kind of oriented your direction, sort of yelling at this event that's going on.
Are they making threats or just yelling their, like, protest bullshit?
Yeah, I mean, mostly protest bullshit, but, some people might be a little more aggressive than others.
Okay, I'm going to continue patrols, watching our flanks and seeing if this is a distraction for something else.
Okay.
You got some. To bring 1-1 into the upper left corner of that green market square.
Say that again, please.
1-1, move him to the upper left corner of the green market square on Lindsay Street, just to help guide people away if something catastrophic were to happen.
It's right about
as well
there.
As to look for those individuals that were identified earlier in case they try to sneak in through there.
Do we want to alert the event organizers too? Let them make a call on whether or not they want to respond to this in any way?
We would have done that a while ago.
All right.
You probably should have done that before the march started, but I guess...
Yeah, the moment that little red circle was drawn, that's probably when I would have said something.
I suppose it's not... If they haven't seen it already, I suppose it's not too late. Kind of hard to miss a bunch of fat women with colored hair and skinny dudes with signs.
Don't talk about my wife like that.
That's crazy.
All right. So they're up here. They're all hooting and hollering, and then a couple of the bravest few they kind of leave the crowd and they start running up and into the parking lot and doing a little bit of car vandalism and kind of making some aggressive threats at the event.
Okay, I'm gonna move 3-1 and 3-2 up to confront the element that is vandalizing vehicles in that square that they occupy. I'm gonna move 3-1 up to a position that's just like 5 o'clock of the subject, and 3-1 to a position that's like 7 or 8-ish. So basically, yep, that works.
All right,
to
so
confront the individuals.
Yeah, you come up to confront him, and as soon as you go to confront, he takes off. As soon as he sees you're approaching him, he takes off and runs back into the crowd.
Perfect.
I got 1-1. Still looking for any of the individuals that would be coming into that market square that were mentioned earlier, casing the place out.
Okay.
But they're also kind of observing the people that are vandalizing as well. 1-3 still operating the drone. He's definitely coming back, watching that little red circle because we're trying to really observing all of the people in the market as well, just making sure that no one's trying to do anything crazy that might endanger themselves or others, even accidentally, but also still watching the entire area, but mostly observing the guests and people that are there.
Okay. You see another small group of 3 people exit the larger crowd and begin to walk towards the parking lot where they have not been opposed, doing some light car vandalism as they pass cars. Anybody want to do anything about that thus far?
I mean, I think somebody should do something about it, but I don't think it should be me, seeing as how if I abandon the position I have, that gives them completely free reign into the other side of the event, completely unopposed. If you want first squad, I can move 3-3 to support 1-1, and they can confront the subjects in the northwest parking lot.
Yeah, I mean,
The dogs.
the problem is that, like I said, I set my guys up to be more low vis observation kind of people. So I'm not imagining that they.
Well, I mean, my guys are security guards.
Yeah.
My guys are like parking lot security guards.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying like one, the element 1 is mostly like.
So while you guys are trying to deconflict this, one of them opens up his jacket and it's got a bunch of crazy looking shit in it, and he screams, "I have a bomb, I have a bomb, I have a bomb," and starts running directly at the crowd, which gets the entire crowd obviously to surge south across the road in the direction of these woods in a total panic.
1-3 take
1-1. 1-1 draws his concealed handgun and attempts to kill him.
Okay, 1-1 draws, effective fires, target down. Crowd is still in full panic mode, headed south. About at the same time that gunshot goes off, you hear it from the wood line, lots of rounds going off. It's not fully automatic, it's semi-automatic fire, but lots of fire going off. And then you hear the crowd start to scream, and then you see people both running north to south and south to north and east to, west to east. Right, so people are running from north to south based on the first guy screaming, "I have a bomb," and you shooting him. The first people that initially hit the forest line are running back north from these fires, and then some people are now starting to run off to the east as well.
Okay, what can 2-2 see anything at that point?
I would say based on this vegetation, they can tell that there's blah 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 gunfire coming from the tree line, but they're not going to see like a point target or even be able to tell probably how many people exactly it is.
Okay, radio to my guys in the truck to come down to Santa Maria and Ferguson, dismount and take up cover and concealment to launch a counterattack if necessary.
You can also move 3-3 down adjacent to 2-2 to take a position on the curb there on the edge of the parking lot.
Have 1-3 cover. Have them actually hop on the precision rifle and start covering the north sector as best as possible. 1-1 will go down and see if they can't start consolidating the crowd and moving them indoors to where they'd be in a safer area, as well as the element on the outer side. Bring them in down to the corner, right where the truck has been left at, to have them see if they can't organize and direct any of the any of the actions of the other.
Okay, so we start to establish a casualty collection point of civilians here inside the building as people are bringing immobile people from the forest out. People that are still in mass panic, we're starting to direct them off to the east, and we still have gunfire. Now these people have taken positions in the forest, and they are starting to fire through the forest, across the road, into the parking lot, and most of the civilians are off the X at this point. And yeah, that's where we're at.
All right, 2-2 is going to run to the truck and get armed up and join 2-1 and 2-3. And they're going to start trying to maneuver on the position of the shooters between Biltmore and Lindsay Street.
3-3 is gonna move to a position across Santa Maria and attempt to cover that northern flank of the second element, and the other two are gonna hold up in the northeast.
Okay. So we have this guy covering over here with precision fires, and then we have these two dudes. Whoa. Over here. 1-1 is also still up here. And then we have one guy here with a pistol. Is that what I remember correctly? And then we have 3 people with basically full assault kit. All right, so I imagine 3-3 is attempting to do some sort of a bastardized support by fire with a pistol. Really what you're doing is drawing fire of the enemy. Yes, more than anything.
Distracting.
And
Oh my God, that guy's got balls.
Right, we're allowing these 3 individuals to sweep through. They sweep through and they eliminate. It was one solo shooter here in the forest line, in this forest line, and they eliminate him. And at that time, when that happens, this individual begins to evade to the south.
All right, I'm going to have 2-1 reinforce 3-3, and the other 2 are going to go back for the truck again.
Okie doke.
And we're going to report the situation to the rest of the gang by radio.
Okay, so you report the situation. No more enemy fires to the south. 1 enemy KIA, 1 enemy routed. And we're at the truck. We have a blocking position to the south. Our mobile unit is ready to deploy. And while all of this was happening, once the shooting started going on down here, these individuals in the crowd, they returned, or in the parking lot, returned back to the crowd. And the crowd began to head east in a panicked state, trying to move at the same rate and under the cover of the civilian victims as well. Right, so kind of not necessarily intermingling, but matching the direction and speed of everybody else, looking like they are also trying to get the fuck out of there. And I'm sure some of them are.
Any of the casualties resemble the original 3 that we spotted in the crowd? Either the shooter in the south or the guy that said he had a bomb?
We'll say the one guy that said he had a bomb, you do recognize him as one of the initial 3.
Okay.
Nobody can go near him just in case he actually has a bomb until someone who's qualified can come up and make sure that if it was, it's all bullshit. If not, then, so quarantine that area. No one can go within 150 yards.
So has pretty much everybody left the area, or do we still have wounded that we're attending to at this point?
You still have wounded inside the building?
Yeah, we need to start structuring. We need to start structuring to get people away from that area. To get them.
Do we have any kind of medical relief or response or anything like that available?
Right, it's still modern times, so you call 911 immediately.
Okay.
And 911 says they have ambulances inbound, but they will not be able to go on site until it's secure.
Okay.
All right, so it's been approximately 15 minutes since the shooting died down, and we will say a squad of National Guard, a section of Mobile National Guard shows up, and they establish security east and west on this main MSR, and then they push dismounts to come in here and sweep the area. So they come through, they sweep the area, they demand that we put all of our weapons away, right? They point their guns at us and tell us to put our guns away, and they sweep through eventually, and they take up a blocking position. These are now teams, not individuals, spread out across here to the south. And once that happens, that allows ambulances to flow through and collect those of the wounded that are still surviving.
All right, I'm going home.
Yep. So that's gonna go ahead and conclude it for this week. It was slightly brief. The first one, so we're setting in the pace, right? Just like last series, it's gonna get progressively more intense. Same thing will happen this series. So this was just getting the ball rolling.
Nice prologue.
I think we should probably also add in there that whether or not it will help. I'm assuming we have those notes of those people. We'll be able to write an after-action report that's effective, and hopefully, if we're smart, all these drones that have cameras and stuff on them, they've got SD cards that you're putting in them. You know what I mean? They're taking videos, they're recording videos. You're going to be able to identify some of those people for later. If they do anything about it or not, it's the government. What can you expect?
Sure. Anybody have anything to say about this or anything at all?
I got a question for you, GWOT.
Let's hear it.
At what point during this scenario would you have engaged? Whenever they were vandalizing, or after the fact they started harassing the crowd?
I would have had somebody in a security polo come politely tell the people to leave if they were harassing the vendors. It's kind of vendor dependent, right? If a vendor started to complain, then I would probably do that. And then definitely when they started approaching the parking lot, I would have tried to push up and seal off the gates, not allowed anybody else to come in. Tried to protect people's vehicles and private property, and form a hard barrier. Right, if you let them take, which they ended up doing, if you let them take an inch, they're going to take a mile. You let them creep in at the gate, they're going to come into the parking lot. You let them into the parking lot, eventually somebody with the most balls is going to run into the crowd and try and do whatever or something. So you want to establish that barrier early and far if legally able to. Even just not that these guys are going to physically stop everybody, but just like it's crowd think, right? Having a guy here that just looks like somebody that could take a punch and deliver a punch and has a polo on it that says security, and he's like, stop, don't come in here, right? And like maybe we put a rope or a chain up across here or whatever, just spitballing. That's going to keep the one dude from being like, oh, private property, ha ha ha, and like stepping on here, which is then going to stop his buddy from being like, yeah, dude, I can outdo you, and like running in and keying somebody's car, which then is going to stop the other three dudes from being like, oh, it's time to key the cars, great, I'm going to come into the parking lot and start keying the cars, right? It's not that you physically have to stop all six of them, but if you stop the first guy from putting his foot over the line, then it doesn't lead to that point, typically.
So basically, they would be kind of pussified at that point because they already got confronted, and then they would be less inclined to.
Right.
I had something similar with that Gosenheimer. Like you guys seen Warfare? That film about with A24. They had something similar. Yeah, but like there's one scene in it where the guys, they notice, hey, there's special forces, they're looking out, they're like, oh shit, we see massing at this street, like there's a lot of massing going on, these guys are all fucking coming up at the same spot. And I feel like in this, like, things don't escalate like immediately, like there's a build up. So my question is like, is there like a rule or something for communicating these events and like us keeping track, like, hey, there's massing going on, or hey, it's getting more aggressive, and hey, we better like go non-lethal or like shoot some shots in the air or whatever, just to kind of stop stuff from like, coming our way.
Yeah, right. So it all depends on whatever the current climate is, like the temperature, the Met TC, the situation at large, even beyond like that day, and then also what you're experiencing that day as well. But yeah, if you if you're able to do it legally and not sound like a complete lunatic and be the boy who cried wolf too many times, yeah, being able to take steps early when you see massing is huge, right? So you could, you know, if you're not worried about the event, you could just shut the event down. You see massing happening close by you. Hey, that's it. That's a wrap. Time for everybody to go home. If that's not an option, you can start to hard point the entrances to create the entrance into a full checkpoint. Right now, we're not just letting any car drive in here. You're gonna have to stop, roll your window down, talk to me. Who are you? What event are you coming to? You have to know the event name. Blah 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 blah. Before I'm gonna let you in here. If we have the ability to create physical barriers, we could do that. Right. Again, all dependent on how much that's going to make you look like a psychopath to everybody else and what you're legally able to do.
Yeah, because we were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse beforehand and how he just shot these guys, whatever, like Kenosha it was. And like as political violence becomes more normalized, like my chances of looking like a psycho go down. It's like we can probably get away with a lot more if like there's literal.
I mean, it just depends, man. Like, you know, I've been in, you know, hostile crowd control situations, I would say, professionally, and the only reason why, in my opinion, like what I did was pull those two units together and consolidate on one side of the parking lot was not to leave anybody alone. You know, one guy might be a deterrent for a short period of time, but when he's one guy alone with no other guy within range to support him, he can be overwhelmed pretty quickly, and I've seen that happen. So,
hello, buddy.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't have, the one guy, move up. I didn't have him run up, with his little handgun and try and stop these people from, jacking up everyone's cars because, as fucked up as that is, I'd rather have him, be able to respond if something happens to, the crowd rather than having people's property get destroyed. As, unfortunate as that is, it's a lot more important to try and protect.
Well, yeah, and if 1-1 moves, then it opens up 2-1 and 2-3, and anybody down there in the actual farmers market area to be flanked by that element that was, the enemy element that was in that northwestern parking lot.
Yep.
Right.
It was a difficult.
Given that there were speakers. Would there have been any point to utilize the PA system to shuttle people inside an Alamo as a defense?
Sure. I mean, you can snatch the mic and holler on it, no doubt. I think you guys did pretty good. I'm not trying to tear you up. It's definitely a rough situation. You were undermanned and outnumbered and in like an open environment, right? There's probably no way realistically to like prevent any bad guy activity from being successful, right? You're playing catch up, not preventative maintenance because you're not the sheriff and you can't lock everything down. But yeah, I mean,
you can't disperse groups of people on public property.
Yep, that is true. That is true.
Wow.
Was calling 911 an option to bring in external help?
Right. So in the pre-situation brief, I briefed that the police department is pretty much not like they didn't want to work with the National Guard, but they weren't able to oppose them, so they stood down. So now it's just the National Guard that's running the show security-wise in the Detroit.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, no worries.
You guys shot a guy, right? Your guy with a handgun, he shot a guy in the parking lot.
Yeah, dude who was screaming he had a bomb.
He was screaming, "I have a bomb," and he had a bomb strapped to his chest. I mean, I would shoot that guy.
No, of course. But
OED.
like we left him alone after, but like I'm assuming. So let's say like it was like a normal guy that didn't have a bomb. It was just like someone with a knife or something, and you shot him. And like at that point, do you touch his corpse or do you like just leave him for like the forensics or whatever? If it's like
leave him for emergency services to deal with. The ambulance, the EMTs can pick him up or whatever. Like I'm not fucking with him.
Also, legally, they're not considered a corpse until a doctor declares them dead. That's just how that works.
Let's say the guy did have a bomb on him, and this whole group is working in unison. What's to stop somebody else from actually coming and picking up said bomb off the corpse? Like, should you not like keep eyes on that body?
I mean, One stayed in proximity to that body like the whole time.
Yeah.
And that he took the shot and then he stayed right there. He stayed eyes on the entire time. He's still right there, 1-1.
With that said, I would say, you know, and this is just speculation, but even a motivated group of individuals is not going to necessarily, you know, martyr themselves. Very few people would do that. You know, the whole, you know, I have a bomb thing. Yes, that is a threat. Yes, it's possible. I mean, they are a death cult. You know what I mean?
So you didn't the insider, the enemy insider info. Let me break it down for you. And this is similar to how these things roll. This was a complex plan, but only the shooters knew the entire plan. Okay, so the shooters are the makers of the event. So they organized the event and they got the college students to participate in it. And the majority of the college students, the crowd here is just an organic, you know, they're just kids that feel that way. And so they showed up and they're just angry and they might, you know, spit at you or throw a rock or something, scream and shout, shake their sign around, but they're not going to do anything really much beyond that. They told the shooters, not telling anybody they were shooters, told the guy that had the bomb, they were like, hey, we're gonna find there's an event going on over there and we want you to scare it, we want you to shake it up. So we're gonna give you this thing we made. It's this prop bomb we created. It's not real, there's nothing explosive on it, which is in the reality of this situation, it was a prop bomb that he had on. Not your fault for shooting him. There's no way you can know that. And they were like, just run up there. You're going to do a real life bomb threat. Like you're going to run up there and scream you have a bomb, and that's going to get this whole everything to shut down. Everyone's going to freak out and run away. There's no cops here. The cops all went home. The National Guard's going to take like half an hour to get there. The whole event's going to freak out, and you can run away from the event and come back and join us, and we'll all leave, and it'll be good fun. We'll laugh about it. And we're going to be in the woods, and we're going to videotape it from the tree line to show how stupid all these fucking conservatives are and how scaredy cat they are. And then, so that's what they told Bomb Boy. So the whole crowd, they didn't even know Bomb Boy was going to come out and say that. Bomb Boy didn't know these people in the tree line were going to be shooters. They set all of that up, and then they knew that the crowd was going to run to the south, and they were going to catch them in the tree line and create a mass casualty active shooter event. And then hopefully be able to run away and leave, knowing that the National Guard is going to take a long time and not be like very investigative minded. They're just going to like do a soft assault of the area to clear it. Which is real. That's how these things go, right? Even though a lot of times they don't escalate, obviously, to like mass shooting events, but that's how all these riots and stuff happen. The 80% of the people there are just organically there, and then they have, you know, some agitators that are like they're little shock troops that go there specifically to fuck shit up, set things on fire, whatever. And then there's a couple people that actually understand what's going on, and they're like trying to steer and direct the greater elements without letting all of them know what's going on. And then they use it all as a big propaganda machine as well.
Yeah, very, very based inclusion of Antifa tactics in this game.
Thank you.
Fucking commies.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about anything at all?
Hey, my question about the shooters in the woods, in the position that we had where it was three guys took out the one, is that the kind of situation where you would pursue, or just, okay, they've run, let's secure the area?
Probably secure the area, because at that point I would also be worried about actual bombs and booby traps like set in place for him on his flight path.
Okay. Following him.
Yep.
I figured it was the safer option.
I would perhaps try to use the truck to maybe cut them off.
Sure.
Since those guys are fully kitted, I would probably use the truck to try to like move down Santa Maria, turn south on Lindsay, and, you know, try to establish a position, you know, down there on Lindsay toward the bottom southwestern corner of that patch of woods, and try to set up like try to block their escape. But
in this exact scenario, you also have to keep in mind the legal considerations, right? So if you are
fleeing at that point,
if you are defending people that are getting shot up from people that are actively shooting at them right at or adjacent to like a private property event that you are participant in, that's very, very clear, defined, easy to defend in court. If you're now chasing a fleeing person down through public property without any sort of official right to do so, and then gunning them down in the streets while they're fleeing. So like, there's actually precedents for this. Oh my God, I can't believe the case name. The dude who was like, I'm just jogging, and then a bunch of people went to jail for shooting him because he was supposedly just jogging. Right. So what actually?
The guy who was punching the dude in the face while he's trying to pull his shotgun out of his hands.
What? So what? The point is, the actual reason those guys got in trouble is because they essentially did a chase him down and stop him, and then it turned into a violent encounter. And then the reason they got in trouble wasn't that the encounter like was violent. It was that it wasn't necessarily about the violence of the encounter or who started it or what about that. The point was, you created this encounter by playing cop, which you're not allowed to do, which is why they got in trouble, right? If they were breaking into your house and you said stop and then they grab your shotgun, yes, shoot them. If you suspect them of being a break-in person, you can't drive at 60 miles an hour across your neighborhood and then cut them off and be like, now stop in the name of all that is legal. So
you're right, and it depends on the legal landscape of the
yes,
locality.
And so the point the point that all I'm making is that if you do that, you're crossing the barrier from law-abiding citizen to now saying like this is you're now participating in the Civil War. You're saying I think I can go catch this dude and shoot him and then drive away and then not get caught up in it because society is crazy now, and I also know this dude can't come back to shoot anybody else because he's dead. That's what you're deciding.
I think it would still be.
Did we see him? Did we actually physically see him shooting?
I guess probably not to a level that would hold up in court. Probably through all those woods and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, there is also like the whole citizens arrest thing. It is a very fine line between citizens arrest and like criminal confinement or like unlawful.
If this dude was a known public threat and you chase him down and detain or eliminate.
Well, that's what like in the state where I live in, like you have that that power, but you also have you have a legal right to protect private property with what they call reasonable force. So if you are engaging with this dude, there's multiple legal. I'm not saying like chase him down with the truck and like gun him down, but perhaps chase him down and try to detain him. You can say you witnessed this guy in the visible commission of a felony. Perhaps you can take that legal avenue.
I'm not arguing. Listen, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing the morality.
That's the idea that you're somehow going to be able to detain someone that just committed a mass shooting. Especially
Just in the case I was just talking about. What happened is they tried to detain the guy, and then he said, "Actually, I would like to fight to the death." So then they had no choice but to fight to the death.
They also didn't witness him in the commission of a felony.
Sure. That's fair. You're not wrong.
So if they would have been able to prove that they saw him actually like in the process of committing a felony, they would have I mean, at least where I live, you would be well within your right to go over there and be like, hey, stop committing that felony. I'm detaining you until the police get here. And then if they attack you, then you're well within your right to defend yourself.
I just wanted to throw it out there that we're entering a legal gray area. For any young lads watching and being inspired, just think about that. Think about your local laws. Think about the greater situation, and also think about before you do it. Think about all the nitty gritty they were saying. Oh, did I see him? Did I see him, or did I just see a guy that looked like him? How clear of eyesight him? Was he committing a felony or was it a misdemeanor? What is it? Are you gonna think about all this shit in the 30 seconds while you're sprinting through the forest after you just got shot at? I'm not even telling you what.
The other thing.
Yeah, right? Go for it.
What was our original job in the first place? It was to be security for this, event. That should still be our main mission. At all times. That's just my opinion. Not to be going after other people, because there's a million demons out there that you could chase after, but
And this is Detroit. They have more rights than Americans here. Criminals.
I mean, I think it is useful to kind of war game out the legal aspects of it. You know what I mean?
EDG has just become like a court case, basically. That's the next evolution of this scenario. We'll go to court.
Yeah, we try to keep our story straight.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you're involved in a situation like this, you're far more likely to face legal repercussions than you are to be like hurt or killed.
Was that why after action, like Deuce Volt, he was saying like, "Oh, I'm going home as soon as the National Guard got here," which like might mean something else. But when I was thinking that is like, would you just fucking bounce? Like all the shooting happened, would you like literally just bounce, or would you stay and talk to the cops or whatever?
In this scenario where the cops aren't even coming, and it's
if I was just a volunteer, dude, I'm leaving when the guard gets there. If I'm like on the clock for a security company or like a contractor for this, probably gonna have to stay and like debrief.
It also
you're gonna have
it
to write a
depends.
statement, but the first thing that you should do if you're going to talk to the cops, which I don't recommend, you should make it incredibly clear and like use the legal terminology. I would like to make a criminal complaint, and then explain what happened. You know what I mean? And don't say what you did. Just say this person did this. Don't talk about what you did. Only talk about what they did.
I wouldn't say anything, especially not in the heat of the moment, because even if it's not directly about you, they can use whatever you say to them and pick it apart. And in the heat of the moment, you're liable not to be as thinking as hard about what you should say. I would literally say nothing to a police officer.
Yeah, if I have the ability to just go home and not be self-incriminated.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm just a volunteer, I'm fucking bouncing. But like, if there's a record of me being here, and getting paid to be here, I probably have to debrief to keep my job. I'm not talking to the police. I'm leaving.
The one thing I was going to caveat off of earlier about basically detaining a suspect, they all wear the same thing, and there was actually a legal case, I forget where it was, but they saw people throwing Molotov cocktail bombs and they actually caught the person that did it, but because everybody's wearing black and ski masks and shit, there was reasonable doubt with the jury, so they got off, and then they sued the city for millions of dollars.
I'm sure that was also a very liberal area too. Like, sure it was.
Guys, we're in Detroit in this scenario. Just reminder.
That is true.
Yeah, it's a liberal.
I don't know.
I hope
in some ways it already looks like a post-apocalyptic city, but it's also run by commies.
I hope that guy you shot wasn't black, or you're going to jail.
Oh yeah, I checked the color before I shot him.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, okay. So, and here's something that I would really like to impress, though, is that in these situations, you must be willing to forego all of that. Not that you would likely be thinking about the legal considerations anyway. You should to a certain degree, but if you're protecting your life, your family's life, or someone else's life that you said that you were going to protect, you know what I mean? If that's your intent, you're going to have to put that, above the I might go to prison, aspect of it. Because if you don't, you're going to hesitate. And if you hesitate, you're going to die.
Real talk.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's always good to make those decisions, have the rules of engagement clear before you step off. Make those decisions before you get to them, so you're not doing that in the heat of the moment and hesitate.
Know your local law and train.
Yes, exactly. And for the rules of engagement for normal people are literally the local, state, and federal laws. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what they really are.
Like, I would advocate for literally anyone. If you don't know your state's self-defense statute word for word and you carry a gun, you're wrong.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, fellas.
It's something you should be aware of at all times.
You can't know. And really know it and read it.
Nice
and
fresh start to
read the case law.
Great job. Engaging scenario.
Thank you.
Give
All right.
an insurance grenade.
Bro, has anybody listened to his audiobook of his fucking short story?
Oh my god, this
Trench Grenade as an audiobook short story?
Bro, no. So he wrote a short story, and then he he reads it on his channel. Like I guess it's like a series maybe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and there's some little art, some stuff that accompanies it. Yeah, go to his channel and look for the drop of his new audiobook.
That's very cool.
Down syndrome story time, bro.
He's that fool is finding new and creative ways to monetize off GunTube.
I mean,
I don't know how many people are interested in his fucking stories.
Well, all three of them are gonna buy his because he's cornered the market.
Short supply of retards in the world that probably do listen and watch his crap.
Yeah, they're gonna listen to that audiobook when they go on runs and stuff and think that hearing how hard it's gonna be from someone who's really done real shit is gonna prepare me mentally.
Oh, bro. Oh my god.
It's all the military idolizing normies that are like, yeah, he's in the fucking army. He knows everything about fighting.
He's a drill sergeant. He knows what's up.
Hell yeah, dude.
He's got a pedigree.
Oh no.
A pedigree.
What is his pedigree?
He's a drill sergeant. I think that is literally it.
Yeah, he's a drill sergeant leader.
Right.
Drill sergeant boxing.
He drill sergeants. So before you become a drill sergeant or a drill instructor, you have to go to like boot camp again, but it's like a little bit harder or whatever, right? To like prepare you to be a drill sergeant. And so while you're there at this boot camp 2.0, which is drill sergeant school, you have like instructor drill sergeants. So people that are drill sergeanting already full-grown adult soldiers or Marines. That's what he's doing, I'm pretty sure. He's drill sergeanting future drill sergeants.
Oh god, that's gotta be the worst part.
He loves it. He loves it because you don't get to do that's like a special thing. So I don't know all the ins and outs of the Army. I would imagine it's relatively similar. In the Marine Corps, you do your first enlistment, your first contract, which is 4 years. Like you join, you go to school, you pass your school, you go to the fleet, you do your thing, and then when you re-enlist, if you're going to re-enlist, you typically re-enlist right around the 3-year mark, and then so they want to position you either to go back to your MOS school and teach people how to do the thing you're doing, go be a recruiter, or go be a drill instructor is what they call it in the Marine Corps. Right, and then so that's like a 2-year duty station is like the standard. They want you to go take a 2-year break from the fleet and either go teach, go be a recruiter, or go be a drill instructor. And then after that, normally your normal life cycle career, you'll go back to the fleet with a couple ranks picked up and be like at platoon leadership level somewhere. But if you really like whatever the fuck it is you just did, you can extend to be there for like another 2 years or 4 years, and then you go to like the next level of those things. For drill instructors, for drill sergeants, for example, it's eventually you become the person who's training the drill sergeants what to do for when they're drill sergeants. So he has selected to, rather than go back to the normal deployable fleet, to stay at boot camp 2.0 and yell at corporals and sergeants that are fixing to be drill sergeants.
Loves that shit.
Yeah.
He does.
Sounds special, all right.
Yeah, he said he's never having kids. Army for life.
It would appear so.
Thank you for your service.
Yep.
I think he might just actually be an incel.
Netanyahu will personally pin the medal on your chest himself.
Oh my god, he's gonna frock him. Terrible.
All right, boys.
You're BB's top guy.
I'm shutting her down before you say any more. Later, YouTube.
Yeah, no, we're